Okay, I think one of the main things right now, and has been forever, is my cards. I have a card system that some of you may have heard. And I have an opening ceremonies that you might talk about that is part that you have incorporated into my client system. And I sent cards when I had the real estate company. I had each agent do an opening ceremonies just like I do for my clients. And on this opening ceremonies is everything I need to know about them. So the basic things, the internet and the email addresses and that, but also do they have a pet? What kind of wine do they like? Their wedding anniversary, their kids' birthdays. And so from there, I am able to touch my clients. And so when I owned the company, I touched the agents in the same way because I knew the same things. And so if an agent was successful at something, what I did with them was to be able to send them something special, a bottle of wine or so forth. And then with regard to my clients, I want to show you. So these are my cards. So every day I have cards like this that I send out. And I do anniversary, birthday, and house anniversary, and then also the kids. And then the kids, I put a $2 bill. And when was the last time you saw a $2 bill? And so, but the importance of this is it's a system. And my team writes out the envelope for me, and then I do the inside of the card, and I write something personal. It's like a pan note on the inside. But you have to remember, this is like my way of getting business. It's a big way. And so I know everything about my clients. So I might write something in there like, how's your mom doing? Or invite them to something. So I'm always doing something, whether it's collecting food for Manna with the Manna Food Bank right now, whether it's collecting socks at Christmas time. I'm always doing something that I can write in there. Or I might write in there that, why don't you give us a call? Give me a call and let me know if you'd like to have a cruise on the lake. So I'm an electric boat on the lake. So when they call me and they say, oh, I'd love to do that, then I ask them to bring a friend. So that's the way I get to know other people, because I know if you gave me a referral, Dan, they would be just like you. And that's the key to a by referral only business, is that you want to bring into your fold the people that you want to be with the rest of your life. And then you want their family and friends that are just like that. In the chat room, I see that they're asking me about where I get the cards. Years ago, I had to just go to the Hallmark store, but now I go to the dollar store. So they're 2 for $1. And so the majority of my cards are there, but the other specialty cards like the driver's license and those type of cards, I do go to the Hallmark store, and there's a special section and there's all kinds of cards there. And so sometimes I just buy those, even though I don't have somebody yet, and being in California, I actually have a divorce card. And so, it says you're starting a new beginning, these cards have to be appropriate for whoever. And then you talked about the sympathy cards. I have a sympathy card for mom, dad, husband, wife, and the more specific you can get, the nicer it is. And so I wanted to share that with everyone. And the other thing is it's important to have the cards already. Okay, so nobody seems to, myself included, if I didn't have the cards at home, I would think like, oh, I got to go to the store. And then I don't ever get to the store, or I get to the store 2 weeks later and now it's too late. And so that's why when Joe came, he was so impressed with the fact that I had, 2 file drawers just full of this stuff, and so, but that's the key. The key is, I have my basic cards which are the birthday, anniversary, and house anniversary, but then all of these other kinds of cards. I actually have a card that says, oops. And that is if we make a mistake of any kind. Sometimes I even if it's the smallest thing, I will send that card and say, I'm so sorry that, we didn't do whatever we said we were going to do. So I have that kind of a card, so I'm always looking for, and now the other thing that people will ask me, why don't I send out cards? Okay, so that's the ones, and the only reason I don't do that is because this is a system that works for me. And at the volume in which I work, I really couldn't, it wouldn't be personal enough for me because I would have to go in and have to personalize it. And then the electronic cards, I just think in today's world, especially, when was the last time anybody who's listening actually got a birthday card, a real card, or a real card about anything with a stamp on it that was handwritten? So people say, oh, do you use a label? No, everything's handwritten, everything is personal. And so even the labels, this label is happy home anniversary, happy birthday. And so each one is a different little label up here. I'd like to share with you the most important card. I hope that you can hear this. The most important card that somebody could send right now is a caregiver card. So it's a caregiver card. So it's the card that the person who is giving the care to the person who is sick. Everyone knows somebody. You send that kind of a card to somebody and you recognize them because everybody's been talking about the person who's sick. And so I really would like everyone who knows somebody today who's a caregiver to send them a card.